Hey guys, I'm Raylan.
And I'm Logan.
Welcome back to My Two Cents podcast.
Today's episode will be Barbieland versus Kendom.
And if you haven't seen the movie, there will be spoilers in this episode. So if you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off now. If you don't really care, continue watching, or come back after you're done watching the movie.
What are we going to start it off with? The beginning of the movie?
So I think we should go way back to whenever Barbie first was known it was going to be a movie. So it had all this hype around it, and all these pictures surfaced on Twitter, and no one really knew what the movie was going to be about. So before we say anything about the actual movie, what do you think Barbie was going to be about?
I honestly didn't really see any ads or anything until, I saw a few on Twitter and whatnot, but, I just thought it was going to be about Barbie. I didn't really have an idea.
I didn't really think so either. I saw like their rollerblading outfits, and I was just excited just for that. It seems so camp. Margot Robbie is the perfect Barbie. As soon as Greta Gerwig was attached to the movie as the director, I kind of had an inkling about what it was going to be, but I didn't really care. As a little girl, I had like 500 Barbies. I had a whole chest of Barbies. I didn't really care what the movie was about. I just wanted to watch Barbie.
I definitely play with Ken with my sister, but that's about as far as it goes for me. It wasn't even the Ken that Ryan Gosling played.
It's probably like a brunette Ken.
Yeah, it's brunette Ken, and then one that had like brown curly hair, kind of like mine.
Yeah.
Inspired.
All right, so we had no idea what this movie was going to be about. I think I watched one trailer, and I was just excited because the trailer opened up with her foot arched like a Barbie. So I knew they were like paying attention to all this detail, but I had no idea what it really was. So flash forward to opening night. We went the very first night it came out. Well, not Thursday, but the Friday showing. And we're just going to go through the movie in chronological order and explain our thoughts and what we thought about the movie. Just note that we are going to be arguing, but we still love each other.
We definitely have different opinions on this movie.
So let's start with the opening scene. It's basically a voiceover explaining how little girls always played with baby dolls. Always just a baby doll, a little bottle carriage that you would push the baby in, doing cleaning and cooking. That's all they really knew what to do, because those were the only roles that women actually had. So
the opening scene is also a play on a movie from 2001 called Space Something. Not 100% sure of the name, but yeah, it was a pretty wretched opening scene.
Yeah, so basically,
little girls smashing baby doll heads.
Before they smash the baby doll heads, it's because Barbie was introduced in 1959 in a black and white bathing suit, and she said, Barbie can be anything. Women can be anything.
See it as kind of weird or satanic like that these little girls are busting these babies' heads.
Like I said, the movie is really camp, really exaggerated. It's just like an eye-opener, and like you can't just be like a little girl sitting there being like, oh, okay, cool, Barbies. Like no, you want it to be funny.
I didn't really find that funny. I thought it was kind of weird, and it almost made it kind of like anti-mom, especially how they made the little joke about being a mom is only fun for so long. Blah, 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 blah.
I don't think it was anti-mom.
It was very anti-mom.
I actually think the movie was for moms and for daughters. And
For daughters, I hope not. Not for moms and their daughters.
I think about that it's for both, especially now that I am a mom and I have a mom. It really made me think about my relationship with both. But we'll get into that later whenever we start exploring the mother-daughter dynamics. So we're introduced to the first Barbie, which is stereotypical Barbie. She came out in 1959. We all know the roles of women way back then were to be a housewife, were to be a mom. So she's saying,
as they should be,
Barbie, shut up. Barbie can be anything. She can be a doctor. She can be a lawyer. She can be president. She could be a vet. a teacher, all this stuff. Then you see Barbies that were in a wheelchair. There was a pregnant Barbie, and there was a white
There's
Barbie.
obese Barbie. There's trans Barbie.
That's later. And they never called her trans Barbie.
You can tell it's a man.
Okay. Anyways, that's not really important because they never said in the movie explicitly this is a trans person.
It's not important, but at the same time it is very important because you're casting a man as a woman. And the movie had a very feminist take on it. So it's just kind of weird, like, do men deserve to have women rights? Or if being a woman is so bad, why do so many men want to convert to being a woman? There's just a lot of things, but I think that men who convert to women are the real misogynists. They like to take away from women. They think that being a woman is just putting on high heels and makeup. I just don't see that as right.
I'm just gonna say Barbie doesn't really have parts, so their parts don't really matter.
Right.
So we go into Barbieland, and there's a million Barbies all in their Barbie dream houses. We're following Margot Robbie's character, who is the stereotypical first Barbie. And you meet all of Barbie's friends, which are also all named Barbie. And every day in Barbieland is a perfect day. Everything goes right for her. They paid attention to so much detail with the movie where they had her at the very top. And instead of making her go down the stairs, you just floated her down, because what little girl actually used the stairs of the Barbie dream house? No one. They paid attention to so much detail. You have to give the movie credit for that, at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely credit due for the movie, but it's also not super hard to take a plastic figurine and the plastic house and everything else and just make it bigger.
I'm sure it cost a lot of money, actually.
It did cost a lot of money. I'm not going to doubt that, but they definitely got their money back plus a lot more. So,
and
as they knew that they would.
Yes. So you actually see all of Barbie's friends, and the movie was extremely diverse, which I know Barbie has gotten some hate at the doll itself for not being very diverse, because she was blonde-headed and blue-eyed, and I feel like the movie tried to fix that by introducing an overweight Barbie. There was a black Barbie, and it wasn't like a light-skinned black girl, but an actual black girl.
She was the president.
She was the president.
Kamala Harris.
And then you had a trans Barbie, but she was not known as a trans Barbie. She was a doctor, and her being trans was not relevant to the plot at all.
It wasn't, but I still find it kind of weird.
I actually saw a lot of people say they had no idea that was a trans person. If a little girl watched the movie, she would have no idea either. If you're worried about kids feeling confused,
I don't think that a little kid should watch the movie at all. There's just
it's not a kid.
It's
not
definitely
a kid.
too suggestive.
Yeah.
For children.
It's not a kid movie. It also has like themes. It's not like there's no sex or anything in it. It's just more mature themes that actually take some thought. That a 4-year-old would not know. So then we're also introduced to Margot Robbie's counterpart, Ken, who is played by Ryan Gosling, which, by the way,
he did great.
Yeah, I actually did not want Ryan Gosling originally to play Ken, mainly because I thought he was too old. And when I was younger, Ken was Barbie's like boyfriend. He was her sidekick.
Not in this movie.
He was her sidekick. Sidekick to everything, and I was really expecting someone younger, maybe not as like lame. He really was kind of lame to me, but Ryan Gosling did such a good job of playing such a lame character.
I feel like he only had like 6 different lines throughout the whole movie, and he just kind of like constantly repeated the same thing.
But that's because you never really gave Ken a voice as a doll. You didn't really care. So you're introduced to Ken, and the plot twist is Barbie doesn't like Ken at all, and his job is beach. That's it.
Just beach.
He doesn't know anything else.
And then they make a lot of gay jokes about that, like I'm gonna beat you off, or
between the other Ken.
you're gonna beat me off. Blah 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 blah. It was really sad. They said it like 6 times, I think.
And you know that Ken really likes Barbie, and she kind of ignores him. That's just it. I mean, she doesn't really do anything cruel, in my opinion. She just ignores him. He's just kind of irrelevant. Which honestly, the doll is.
I just don't really like how they portrayed Ken and every other man in the movie like an absolute dunce. Like they have 0 brain cells that are functioning.
Like there aren't women who have been portrayed that way in movies.
I mean, it makes a little bit more sense, but not to the extent that men are now. It's not even just this movie specifically. It's like every movie that you think of now, always the male figure, the father, whatever, he's always like the dumbass, and then the mom is the one who works and she's so intelligent and blah 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 blah. Like that's every movie now, I swear.
And you don't think that's our relationship?
No, I gotta work. I'm very intelligent. Weren't you just asking me a bunch of questions about this new thing that you're trying to start up? If I'm so dumb, why would you like my opinion?
Because you're good with making money, I guess, but whatever.
Hey, that's all that matters in life.
Moving on. So then Barbie has her party that she has basically every night, and during it she has an intrusive thought like, hey y'all, do you ever think about death? Everybody has intrusive thoughts.
Barbies aren't supposed to think about death.
Yeah,
they're plastic figurines.
Like, do you ever have moments where you're like so mad and you're like, God, like I want to like when I think about Logan, sometimes I'm like, I just want to like slam his face into concrete and like smash his teeth. Like that's an intrusive thought, but like everyone has them, right?
Nothing that insane, no.
You've never thought about...
I mean, about other people for sure, not about you.
That is such bullshit.
Nah, I mean, you know, you kind of annoy me sometimes, but like, I don't think I've ever thought about smashing your face against the concrete. It's a little weird. I don't know.
Not really. I bet you everyone, maybe probably not guys.
I'm sure a lot of people have thought about thought that about me, so.
No, I think that like it's very normal to think that about, you know, your significant other because they will invoke the most emotion from you. So maybe a past...
Yeah, it's definitely true. Just like with your child, you always hear people talking about the intrusive thoughts about their children, like if they don't stop screaming and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
Or even like the cuteness overload where you just want to like squeeze the shit out your kid or something.
Yeah, and you're like, God, why did I have the thought of like I want to squeeze the shit out of my kid? Like that's weird. So Barbie has an intrusive thought and like the party stops and she's like, I forgot exactly what she said, but she like turned it around, the party kept going. And then the end of the party, Ken was like, hey Barbie, can I stay the night at your place? And she was like, to do what?
Every night is girls' night.
But at the same time, like, to do what?
Shit, he was trying to bump no genitalia together, I guess.
Bump
just like
smooth flatness.
Yeah.
Dry humping, for real. But yeah, she did not you know, like Ken said tonight. And quite honestly, that is the meanest thing she did to him the whole movie.
I don't think so. I don't think that she acted any way towards him. It was just how men were portrayed in the movie in general.
Okay.
It wasn't how any specific character treated a man. It was how men were just portrayed overall.
I think that it's really important how Barbie treated him because of how he treats her later. And she didn't deserve it.
Okay, they do treat them like trash, bro. They don't even have a house.
Okay.
They don't have a dream house. They don't have a cardboard box to live in. They're just beach. They sleep in the sand.
So what?
So, I mean, that's pretty messed up.
It's
you know
a
what
doll.
I'm saying? Like, so what? So what?
Okay, so Barbie starts... Whatever.
Everyone deserves a home.
Shoot. Okay. Barbie starts having more terrible things happen to her, like, oh my gosh, cellulite. And she wakes up all, you know, not well rested and everything. So she goes to Weird Barbie, which every girl has a Weird Barbie. I did. I don't know why little girls want to cut the hair off their Barbie and draw on them. But every girl does. I'm sure your sisters
Or light
did.
them on fire.
Yeah. Draw nipples on them.
Put them on those little rockets that you shoot into the sky. I don't know. That was more army men, I guess, but
like G.I. Joe dolls.
yeah.
Actually, whenever I was younger, my brother would get his G.I. Joe dolls and hook up with my Barbies in the Barbie hotel. And I would be in the room watching and be like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? So Weird Barbie tells her she has to go to the real world, and they do a play off of one of Logan's favorite things,
The Matrix.
So go ahead and explain.
She had a high heel, which is the blue pill, stay in the fake reality, never know the truth, kind of stay stupid and be a slave forever if you're playing off the Matrix movie. And then a Birkenstock, which is the red pill. You should take the red pill. Basically where she goes to the real world, she wakes up, she figures out the concept of Barbieland, I guess. I don't really know exactly what it was kind of a terrible play on the Matrix. It kind of bummed me out. I liked that they added it in there, but I feel like they didn't do good enough with it at all. So
I think they did. I thought it was funny. I actually thought Logan would have enjoyed it just for
I like that they added that. They just didn't
distinguish between the two worlds.
Not really, no.
I mean, basically the red pill is stating that like things aren't perfect. Like she will have cellulite, she will have bad mornings, she will be human.
Yeah, if you go to the real world, I guess so.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, which is why
shout out Andrew Tate.
The high heel, because Barbies only wear high heels, and that's not a thing in the real world. You wear your Birks. So she goes to the real world, and Ken decides to join her, and that's whenever we're gonna start really getting into this debate. So they're wearing the famous roller skating outfits, all the neon tights, and they're on the beach just rollerblading. And
5 seconds after getting into the real world,
what?
A guy comes up and smacks her ass out of nowhere, because that's very normal.
She gets
as she's walking with her boyfriend. Well, no, the thing was she was expecting the real world to be like Barbieland, where it's a matriarchy, right? And she's looking for the women construction workers. Come to find out, in the real world, women don't do grunt work like that, at least here in America. So she finds out that they are men construction workers, and then she's like going up to try to talk to them, I guess, and then they all start catcalling her, which is kind of weird. I don't know. I feel like it was like extremely over dramatized. Within like 10 seconds, she's getting her ass smacked, knocking a guy out, and then getting catcalled by some construction workers. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I feel like it was just extreme over exaggeration to make men look worse and worse, like they do throughout the whole movie. And then she also got arrested for punching the guy in the face. So then the officers were standing there like staring at her boobs and like looking at her all weird and sexual and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it was extremely overplayed.
So I do think they exaggerated it, but I don't think it's not realistic.
I don't think it's not realistic, but it, I don't know.
Like, I was a server and a bartender for a few years, and I mean, I did get hit on a bunch. The restaurant staff, as you know, were not always good to me.
I think that getting hit on and being catcalled are different. Like, being hit on is like, if you're serving a table and then some guy like tries to get your number or says you're pretty, or, it maybe even if it's a little weird, like whatever. But catcalling is when you're like walking down the sidewalk and there's some dude like standing all in the shade and stuff, and he's like, hey shawty, come over here, like blah 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 blah. I don't know, I just feel like there's a huge difference between being hit on and getting catcalled. I don't see being hit on as like a disrespectful thing. I mean, people can do it disrespectfully, yes, but being catcalled is like always 100% disrespectful.
I will say I have been catcalled mostly, after leaving the bar or the club. But
Where
there
you
have
should
been
not be
times
by yourself as a woman.
I am never by myself. I have been with you, and it would happen to me.
After we leave the bar.
And they're at the bar.
Again, that's being hit on. That's not being catcalled.
Okay. Well, after leaving the bar with a group of girls, yes, I have been
Should always have a man
catcalled.
with you, ladies.
I remember being in the streets of New Orleans and guys just swarming me and my friends, and me and my friends feeling like, we couldn't drink. We had to have pepper spray on us. I do think that it's a little scary to be a girl out in public.
I think that too. I think there are some very weird men out there. That's why I'm like a huge activist for you should always have a man around, no matter the circumstances or whatever. Like, I don't think it's safe for women to go out and do stuff alone, even if they're in a group nowadays. I feel like it's very risky. There are a lot of weird people out there.
Yeah, actually, whenever I go out, I have a taser, I have pepper spray, and your mom actually just got me this new thing. It's like this alarm that lights up, and it's like screams so loud. All you do is press the button, and
almost like a dog whistle.
I don't know, but she said that she saw it like online and bought one for all of us. But it's really sad that girls live in a time where you can't do that. Like, I feel like I can't even go shopping with Harlow out in public by myself because I get scared.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It is sad that there are still barbaric people in the world, but it's definitely different from 200 years ago, where even longer than that, I guess, where every man was extremely barbaric. Like, think of Genghis Khan. Like, that's kind of how the world was back then. So I feel like as much as it's not safe for women now, I feel like it's safer than it ever has been at the same time, which I still don't think that women should be out alone and stuff like that. It's not like a misogynistic thing. It's just for their own protection. There was something else I was going to say, but
the movie also, you only got so much time to show it. So yes, within the span of 5 minutes, Barbie does get hit on, ass smacked, catcalled, whatever. You only have so much time to show very realistic things. So I know plenty of women who can relate to that situation. I have been groped out in public by men that I did not know. I actually did whenever we were in Atlanta for Halloween in my sex robot costume. Yeah. But I was literally like, you were dragging me through the crowd and guys would be touching me. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's like the weird, weak men who, like, if you think about, like, the most crazy incidences, like school shootings, rape, all that type of stuff, it's always, like, the weird, weak men who can't find happiness with anything else because, I don't know, they're just, I think the weakness of men and the mental weakness is a huge downfall for us. It's always those people who are doing the terrible things, like, you don't see, I don't know. It's just, I feel bad for women sometimes, and
and I was gonna say,
and I know the type of men who do that stuff, and it's not right, but
you even have guys who have everything who commit crimes like that. Like, there are men who were born into a rich family and had education and are still known as the rapist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it's your class or your status or anything like that. I think it's like a weak mentality. Like, you can't. It's like emotional men. That's the word I was looking for. Emotional men do these things.
They act on impulse.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Whenever you're a stoic person, you don't think to do that stuff at all.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. I do think it is almost like an impulse thing. Like, you see an attractive girl and you can't, like, it's an impulse to, like, grab her rather than, like, just acknowledge that she's an attractive girl. And then that becomes, like, such an evil thing. Or like a school shooter, you're so angry at your classmates or your life, and instead of, reacting in a healthy way, you want to eliminate those people.
Yeah, which is why I think it's a bad thing that nowadays they're like, I mean, I'm all about men's mental health. Yes, I agree. Um, but I don't think that, like, the new thing now is always act on your emotion or show your emotions or this or that or the other. Men are wired very differently from women, and like, say you're angry. Well, whenever men get angry, it's like a different type of anger.
Yeah.
So whenever we don't control our emotions as we should and as we always have, and now they're telling us to act on our emotions and show our emotions, that's what's causing more and more and more of these incidences, is men not having their emotions under control.
Right. Abusive men are extremely emotional men.
Yes.
Like emotions like jealousy and anger can really make a man do crazy stuff.
For sure.
So that was a long blurb about a very small part of the movie.
Yes. Sorry, we went off on a tangent there.
But as Barbie is coming to realization of the real world, Ken feels like he was being acknowledged on the beach. He was like, wow, like these guys are like, looking at me like I'm somebody, because in Barbieland, no one looked at him. But the guys, I don't think this is realistic, because if you're wearing that outfit, guys would probably be looking at you like you're weird, not acknowledging you as a man.
He probably didn't care how they were looking at him. He was just getting some attention.
Yeah. And so he starts, they go to like a place that has cowboy outfits, and Ken really likes this, and he kind of branches off on his own, and he starts to see like men CEOs. He sees a guy wearing a long fur vest coat, and
police officers on horses.
Yeah, he starts learning about horses, and he is like stoked this is happening, because he doesn't have access to anything like this in a matriarchy. And while that's going on, Barbie finally meets the person who owns her. And who owns her is why she was facing all these problems in Barbieland, because her owner was attaching her emotions to her doll, basically. So instead of playing with her doll and being happy with her doll, she was making her doll sad.
She thought she met the person who owned her.
Yeah, so she met No, it was the little girls, and then her mom started playing with it,
I guess.
So she meets Sasha, which, by the way, I don't know if you realize this, but the 4 girls were supposed to represent Bratz dolls. The 4 Bratz dolls. Sasha, Jade, Chloe, and Yasmin. That's why
I don't know anything about Bratz dolls, so no.
I was a Bratz girl too. I actually think my fashion sense and like the way I do my hair and makeup is definitely more Bratz. I'm just not as classy or as refined as Barbie. Ain't that right?
Yeah, I guess so. No comment.
And Sasha was kind of saying things like, you little girls hate you because you ruined the beauty standard. You made us hate ourselves. You're a fascist, or...
Yeah, like Barbie's gonna know what a fascist is. Oh, wait, she somehow did know what a fascist was. She was like, I don't have control of the railways or the commerce traffic or whatever she said.
Yeah, and said that she, was all about capitalism. I mean, I guess that's true.
What, are we supposed to be communists or something?
So they're like going off on Barbie, and she like starts to cry.
And by the way, Barbie should be the beauty standard. Who do y'all have right now? Kim Kardashian with the BBLs. I mean, all you gotta do to look like Barbie is go to the gym and put on some makeup.
Yeah, I mean, I think Barbie is an unrealistic beauty standard, and I do think Kim Kardashian is also an unrealistic beauty standard. I think we should just kind of like normalize healthy bodies versus plastic, Barbie is plastic, and then Kim Kardashian is definitely all plastic too.
I mean, I agree, no plastic, but also, yes, 100% healthy bodies. Like, I don't think we should be sitting over here saying that Lizzo is a beauty standard and she's perfect and all that stuff. Because no,
Oh, have you
you
not
need
seen
to
the new
take
stuff
care
about
of yourself.
Lizzo?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the perfect time to talk shit about her because hopefully I won't get as much hate. But yeah, I mean, you can't look like that and expect you to be like, I don't know. I just think it's extremely unhealthy. Everybody can go to the gym, everybody can get in shape. I mean, I'm not sitting here like the biggest guy in the room, but I'm also not crying that G.I. Joe is the masculine physique standard and I'm not like that. So,
Right. So growing up playing with Barbie, I never like felt bad about myself like body wise. Like she had a thin waist and really big boobs for her figure. If anything, I just felt bad that Barbie was blonde and blue eyed, and I thought that made my features less attractive because
maybe that's why they said that she's fascist because she was a certain person's
ideal
special race. Yeah.
yeah, so like Barbie's best friend was the brunette, so I grew up felt like brunettes were like the sidekick in movies. They were always like the dorky best friend, the girl who wore glasses. Everyone always comments how pretty blue eyes are. So that was the only thing that Barbie ever really made me feel bad about myself, but then I kind of got over it because it's a doll. And
Yeah, I don't think that you should compare yourself to a doll or a lady who has plastic shoved in her ass or just most things, you know.
yeah, I think that we should accept ourselves the way we look. I actually am all about self-confidence and doing whatever you need to do to reach that point, but I also think that you should reach that point without doing anything to like unhealthy to your body. So I don't believe like plastic surgery is a good thing. I don't think fillers is a good thing. I think you should just learn to love yourself the way that you were made. Because I think if you're doing something to your body, you're not truly happy. Even if you love yourself more after plastic surgery, I still think that there's a part of you that is insecure.
Well, 100% because you didn't have to do anything to earn that. Besides maybe go work a job for the money for it. But I feel like that you're always going to have that thought in the back of your head, like, oh, if I didn't go get plastic surgery, I wouldn't look like this. So therefore, like, it just kind of lowers the confidence level, whereas instead you can go work for how you want to look. I mean, I'm not going to say that you can change what your face looks like. I mean, you can thin yourself up or gain a little weight, like either way. But it's not like you can sit there and, completely change what you look like. You just got to be happy with that.
Same thing with like
do whatever you can to just give yourself a healthy body. I mean, a healthy body versus an unhealthy body, you're going to look way better in a healthy body.
Right, and it's also healthy for your mind as well. I know a lot of people have body dysmorphia and continuously get plastic surgery or do stuff to their bodies because they don't actually see themselves the way they are. And it's actually a super big thing right now. I see it all the time on social media. I'm actually not really big on social media. Like, I will post a bunch on there, but I don't like to scroll and stuff and scroll on TikTok because I don't think it's good for you. It makes you feel bad about yourself, and all you're really getting is everyone's best. You're never getting anyone's worst, and because of that, you're at your worst, and you think you're not good enough. You feel like shit. So I just don't really get on social media. I used to a bunch, and then I've definitely had a bunch of changes in my mindset about it. And I actually think it's been better for my mental health overall, staying off.
Yeah, I think social media is a disease. It can definitely give you unrealistic life standards and everything else because, you're only seeing everybody's best moments. And you're comparing your entire life to just their best moments. As well as every person's picture is edited to shit these days. Like, I literally see so many people online on Instagram and this, that, and the other, and then I see them in person. I'm like, holy shit, this looks like a completely different person.
Right, and that's it's just adding to this whole body dysmorphia thing, and it makes you feel bad about yourself because you think you're a baddie online, and then you you're seen in person and you don't look like that, it's just going to make you feel bad about yourself because it's going to be noticeable to other people that you don't look like that, and they're going to comment on it. So you might as well just be real and get used to it.
I'm glad that I'm not photogenic because I've been told that I look better in person than I do in my pictures, and I would much rather that than somebody see my pictures and they're like, oh wow, he looks so good, and then they see me in real life and they're like, ugh. So I'm glad that I'm not photogenic because I look a little whacked out in all my pictures, I swear.
Yeah. I'm just glad that, I'm attractive.
That is true.
Just kidding. I do think
She's not just kidding.
Decently attractive, but it took me time to feel that way. Anyways, so moving on. We're totally veering off topic. So bad here, but whatever. Barbie is crying because she just ran into Sasha, and then Mattel is wanting to go after Barbie and Ken because they shouldn't be in the real world, and this could create a whole catastrophe. I don't really know why it would, but...
And mind you, every single person that works at Mattel is a man.
Besides the receptionist, which is a woman.
Yeah, but that's also not true if you look up the board. Yes, the CEO now is a man, but it was a woman for 30 years. And there are like 6 or 7 women on the board now. But it's portrayed as the men run the company because, the real world is an extreme patriarchy. And
it definitely was for a long time.
Well, I mean, there have been times where women have tried to take over. It just doesn't last.
I mean, women have had to fight for it, and I think that Barbie was just trying to show that it's very common to see all-male CEOs and things like that.
I mean, yeah, but women have the same opportunities as men whenever it comes to business. I 100% believe that because I've seen what women can do in business. But then there's this one guy who's like the desk worker at Mattel or whatever, and he figures out that Barbie is in the real world, and he goes and tells the CEO, and then there's like some little joke where somebody asks him something, and he's like, oh, well, I have no power, so does that make me a woman? Like, come on.
I mean, you think that's a joke and that's funny, but you also think that a woman's role is to be a mom and nothing else.
I don't think that it's just to be a mom. I think that that's the most fulfilling thing in life for a woman. So I think that's our purpose as men and women is men provide and protect and populate, and women nurture, care, give, and also populate.
But it's not a man's number one thing to be a father.
Well, I think providing and protecting are a little bit more important than populating 100% of the time. Like, I'm not going to be out here fucking women 24 hours a day to have kids. I got other kids to take care of, so.
Okay, so they capture Barbie. All the men are so stupid at Mattel. I mean, the movie is portraying men to be
very dumb
idiots. She ends up running away because she realizes that there's something wrong here, and she runs into Sasha's mom, Gloria, who she realizes the person playing with her doll, because Gloria is feeling sad about how much her daughter doesn't really...
She was also the front desk receptionist for Mattel.
She was feeling sad because her daughter kind of, is in that moody 13 to 14 year old stage, and there was like this little montage of Gloria playing with Barbie, and you see her trying to reach out to her daughter, and her daughter has an attitude. And this is why I think this movie's for mother and daughters, because this montage between Sasha and Gloria, where Sasha's pushing away her mom, it made me think about my mom and I's relationship, and where I felt like I did that too. And it makes you realize, like, your mom's just a girl too, right? So
I understand your point and all that, and I completely get what you're saying, but I feel like that montage is like the only thing that's made for a mother and the child.
No, because it continues.
There's like two or three parts, but the whole movie, definitely not. Maybe if your daughter's like 15 or 16.
It made me think of that because I was a daughter and I played with Barbies, and my mom has told me so many times that, you know, she wishes that I never grew up, and she wishes that I was like still her little girl, and it made me emotional because this movie kind of put it in a different perspective for me of like, now I'm a mom, and like there's going to be a day where Harlow does that to me, and it's going to make me sad.
I already see her like growing every day, and I'm like, damn, I'm already getting stressed out for lots of things. I don't know. I try to take in every moment I get with her. I literally see her. I swear she looks different every day that I come home from work. It's crazy.
Yeah, having a kid makes you like miss your kid when they're there, in a sense.
I mean, that is like, it gives you so many views that are different. Like you realize how mortal you are. You realize that you're not going to be around for your child's entire life. It makes time go by so much faster because you see your kid growing. So you're like, you know, you can tell time by how much your kid is growing. And I feel like that just makes it feel like it's going by so much faster. Like, it does not feel like we've had her for 4 months.
I know. And everyone tells you like it goes by in a blink of an eye, and it does. Like, I remember being pregnant and feeling like I was pregnant forever, but then it happened so fast. And this movie was like, I already miss my daughter being a baby, and she's a baby. Like, I'm already thinking about her being 14 and being like, God, my mom's fucking lame. Like, please don't drop me off at school. Please don't pick me up. Like, I'm already thinking, like, what can I do to make my daughter, like, always love me?
She'll never think that about me.
Bitch, please.
She'll like, my dad's goofy as fuck, and he's got a really cool Lamborghini.
Okay. I really just want Harlow to always be like, you know, my mom is like my number one supporter. She's my best friend. I'm always in her corner. I'm always going to believe in her. Things like that. Those are things that I really want in my relationship with my daughter, and that I always think about. And what can I do every single day to ensure that? So I do think this movie is for mothers and for daughters, because Gloria and Sasha continue to be a huge focus in the movie after this point. So they end up going back to Barbieland, all three of them.
Ken had already gone back.
Yeah, he left.
Skipped that part.
Oh yeah, because you know, Barbie got captured by
Mattel. He went to a library, found a book that's literally, the title of it was Patriarchy. After he had seen all the men and everything else.
And books about horses.
Yeah, and books about horses, because for some reason he thought that horses ran the world for a little bit.
Because he was a cowboy.
No, it's because they think men are retarded.
Whatever.
So then, yeah, but after he gets the book, the Patriarchy book, he goes back to Barbieland.
Because he realizes Barbie is like, you know, I don't know. I guess he just kind of like stopped caring. So
he knew that she was with Mattel, so he thought that she was okay.
Yeah. So, whenever they go back to Barbieland is now Kendom. Ken decided to introduce patriarchy to Barbieland, and this is where things get really interesting. I have a lot of opinions on what Ken did to Barbieland, and I think he is not introducing patriarchy in a healthy way. I think that he was petty and jealous and spiteful, all because Barbie just did not like him.
Is it because Barbie didn't like him, or is it because all the Kens were fucking oppressed for so long, since the beginning of Barbieland?
And women were not oppressed, and men
not in Barbieland. No, you weren't.
I'm talking about in the real world. So women were oppressed.
Now it's going from, and he's a doll and it's Barbieland and all this stuff, but now we're going into but in the real world.
No, because men are such snowflakes that they walked out of the theater over some dolls. So let's bring it into the real world. Women were oppressed, but God forbid they took over the world like fucking Ken did in Kendom.
I think.
And not only that, but he made it
for the genders, and if you play by them, everything works out.
Frat house.
Exactly, he made it a frat house, which is not even like a good,
by the way,
example of patriarchy whatsoever.
Please. In college, those were like the big dogs on campus, the frat boys, the rich boys.
All right, well, I didn't go to college, and there's a lot of things I could say about college, but
And he called it
it's
his
very ignorant to compare the patriarchy to a fucking frat house.
Mojo Dojo Casa House. He was a fucking idiot. Anyways, there are things that he did that I can relate to, that men do. He took from Barbie, and he did it to be spiteful, because he was like, see, now you know how it feels, or you don't like how it
That's
feels.
what fucking women do nowadays.
No, because Barbie...
Yes, that is what women do nowadays in the real world.
Barbie never took anything from Ken. She just did not like him, and he could not handle the rejection.
That's not the point. It's not whether she likes him or not. It's the fact that he was oppressed in Barbieland, and then he turned around and did the oppressing. First of all,
why couldn't
how do you brainwash if all these women in Barbieland are so smart, strong, level-headed, they got a good head on their shoulders and everything else, that they can run the whole thing? How are they so easily brainwashed?
Because being a strong woman is exhausting.
Oh, so exactly. So then they were fine with putting on the French maid outfits and not having to fucking do anything. Why can't people be okay with that now?
Okay, that part of the movie was a little weird, but
it doesn't make any sense.
Regardless, he took from Barbie, and one of the main things that I really liked, because it's so realistic, is the what was it, long-term, long-distance, low-maintenance, casual girlfriend. How many men do you know in the world want that kind of relationship? And you can't even deny it that you used to be one of those kind of guys. You wanted to have a girlfriend who was faithful to you while you were unfaithful to her. Men are like that.
Duh. If you can provide enough value, I don't see that as a bad thing. As long as your woman knows, what does it matter? It's not unfaithful if your woman knows.
Okay, in the real world, women don't know, and if they do
we
know,
live
they're
in
pissed.
America where it's woke as fuck, so yeah, they don't get along with that. But if you go to like Eastern Europe and Asia and shit, fuck yeah.
I just think that line right there, the long-term, low-maintenance, casual girlfriend, that is every man. Seriously.
Well, yeah, because
unless
you don't understand what how much actually goes into it.
I guess I don't, but if you want to be with me,
I feel like men are, for the most part, pretty low maintenance. What do I ask for? What do you like? I mean, besides stuff around the house now, but what do you do for me specifically?
I gave you a child that you wanted.
Okay, that's fair, but at the same time,
I quit my job and stayed home.
Okay, and you get taken care of.
I know, but I went from being someone very independent to someone not, and that is...
Okay, what are you, Beyonce or whatever?
Huh?
Whoever sings the independent songs? All the single ladies or whatever?
I cook you dinner. I do your laundry.
Okay, I said besides the stuff that, you're staying at home now.
I'm faithful to you.
I cook dinner too, so I actually did tonight, so.
Why? What else did you do today around the house?
I got our AC fixed.
No, Landon did. Shout out AC Doctor.
Yeah, shout out AC Doctor. Hey, I made the call.
I could have made the call too. I just don't have his number.
I'm the guy who makes the calls and makes it happen,
Right. Okay, and I'm the girl who sat with the broken AC all day with a crying baby.
I was outside.
Okay. See, this is what parenthood is, trying to one-up each other. Anyways, I feel like I offer a lot to where a man should be faithful to me. And if you don't think so, you can leave because no one's asking you to stay. Right? You don't have to be with me. If you don't agree with my terms and my boundaries, then don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Okay, I don't know why you're just talking to me like that, like I fucking do anything.
I'm not, I'm
I
just
work
saying.
14 hours a day. Yeah, but you get extremely emotional whenever you're talking about it. You can't even have a general conversation about it all. It all pertains to you.
Okay,
instead of thinking in a lot of parts of the world that is a very normal practice. It's even a normal practice in some religions in America. So I understand you're going based off yourself, but I don't understand why you're getting so emotional about it.
it's not even emotional just because of you, because it's not our relationship and you've never cheated on me. So it's not really emotional to you. It's more so, I know plenty of women who that's happened to. I don't agree with it. I think women need to know their value and their worth. And I'm always going to preach that. If a girl ever gets cheated on, I'm going to tell her to leave. That man's not worth it. He automatically loses his value.
I don't know how many times I got to reiterate because we've had this conversation before. I don't know how many times I got to reiterate
it's not
it's
cheating.
Not cheating if she knows and she's okay with it.
But the thing is you also think that a girl has to be 100% faithful to the guy.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way.
So
it's a delusion.
For men and women. Women, whenever you have sex with other men, it's an emotional attachment. Men can have sex with no emotion. But every single time that you have sex with a man, he takes something from you, and you have some sort of an emotional attachment to him.
Okay, so I guess I will agree with that. I don't know. There are women out there who are into casual sex. I'm not. I have never been into casual sex, never done anything like that. So I really can't say anything about that. I've always had an emotional connection, but I'm not going to say that, and it's a general thing for every single woman. There are women who are super casual. So what about those super casual women?
Well, what about them? They're, whores.
Okay. I really just don't agree with the whole long-term, low-maintenance, casual girlfriend thing. I will always tell any girl to never accept that from a guy. And a lot of the times, the guys who do want that are the frat boys, the
men who can provide nothing.
The potheads, the drug dealers, the fuck boys of the world are the ones who are like that really nowadays, that people like us. We're not going to, see Andrew Tate and be like, okay, it's okay. Yeah, he's got 10 girlfriends. We're talking about everyday life, right? And normal people. Yeah,
that's why I said, you gotta be somebody who can provide enough value. Right.
But the thing is there are bums that we know
that expect that, and that's why they don't ever get it. They cheat on their girl, but once their girl finds out, she ends up staying, because girls are, I don't know why they can't get over a man nowadays, especially with all these fucking bums out here. But they just, then the man is constantly nagged about, are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me? And then that also brings, especially if you're not cheating before that, that also brings a man to cheat. If you're if you haven't cheated or anything else, but your girl acts like you did or constantly asks you or this, that, and the other, that'll bring you to cheating, because you're already getting blamed for it. So why not do the act?
So we're actually going to have a whole episode about cheating. There was a user who commented and asked us about it, so we're actually going to have a whole discussion on cheating. So we're going to move on from this topic and talk more about Kendom.
Yeah. I guess we can get back on track.
Yeah. So Kendom is basically a frat house. It's disgusting. It's dirty. It's all about beer and horses, and he's wearing a long fur coat. He's a douchebag. They're not president. They're not doctors. They're not doing anything great to society. They basically ruined Barbieland. So I don't really understand how anyone can really root for Ken here. He's not a good man.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's not what the characters portray themselves. It's how the men in the movie are portrayed as a whole. Because any sane society of men is not going to go in there and turn the whole fucking city or town or land into a fucking frat house. They're obviously going to have some ranks and stature with it,
Yeah. I don't think the movie was anti-men. I don't think it hated men, but I don't think it was for men, because it is showing the absolute worst of men. But there are men out there like that, and
I agree, and that's why they amount to nothing.
So Barbie ends up becoming very depressed because Ken did that. He didn't even really want her as his girlfriend anymore, unless it was the casual thing. He just cared about, beer and playing sports.
And the Godfather.
The Godfather, and I don't even know what else, horses, and just being an overall asshole. So Barbie goes into a whole existential crisis, which is hilarious that they finally introduced a depressed Barbie. Did anyone else feel called out by that? Because I definitely did. I related to depressed Barbie.
Not at all. thought it was kind of weird. I was like, this plastic figure that's not supposed to have any emotions, and she's sitting here crying.
Yeah, so she's having like a crisis, and she's basically talking about how she doesn't feel good enough. She doesn't feel pretty enough. Like, all she is this. And for someone like who's Margot Robbie, I mean, obviously this is just a movie, but like for someone like that who doesn't feel good enough and doesn't feel pretty enough is so normal.
Well, they also had the narrator come in during that point. I
It's
thought it was pretty freaking cheesy, honestly. And they're like, by the way, if you want somebody who thinks that they're not pretty and is depressed and blah, 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 you probably shouldn't cast Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
and it was really lame.
But the thing is there are really pretty girls who don't think they're pretty, and that relates to the whole body dysmorphia thing.
I guess.
And then Gloria goes into this whole long spiel, which it's famous now, her long topic about how girls have to be thin, but not too thin. They can't, be demanding or rude, but they still have to be successful, but they always have to be grateful and things like that. And it's so true that women can never actually be good enough for a man.
I don't
or
think
for other
that's
women.
True at all. It's just women have the wrong priorities in their head, and that's what makes them think that they can't be good enough for a man because they don't have the priorities that a man would like you to have. But anyways, continue.
Anyways,
all I remember was some girl in the back behind us yelled "preach" after she was going off about that stuff, and I just had to sit there and shake my head.
I mean, there's definitely many examples about the differences. I know you're probably going to roll your eyes about this, but like Taylor Swift is one of them. She is one of the most successful songwriters
That's what
and
I'm saying. Like, are y'all really oppressed?
Of our generation. But the thing is she has so much hate towards her as well. She gets,
and guess who she's hated by? It's not men.
Yes, it is. There are plenty of men who don't like her because they're like, oh, another song.
I've never heard a single man say anything about Taylor Swift. I don't think half the men even know who the fuck she is. I've never heard a single man say anything about Taylor Swift. I have heard tons and seen tons of women hate on Taylor Swift. Never seen a man.
Okay, sure. I have. Whatever. We can get into that. They're always like, Taylor Swift only writes songs about her exes, but so do guys. And you never hear anything about that. Ed Sheeran only writes about women. The Weeknd only writes and sings about objectifying women. I mean...
Well, I think a lot of music is very degenerate. Like, look at rap nowadays. It's all about stealing, killing, doing drugs, and going to jail. So
that speech basically woke one of the Barbies up, and they realized they have to preach this to all the Barbies to wake them up, and they do. And they start to figure out how to take Kendom back and make it Barbieland. So they start relaying this message consistently, but the girls are still going to pretend like they're under this delusion. And they decide, we're going to turn these Kens against each other and make them jealous of each other to get Kendom back to Barbieland. So you go into Barbie like, hey, Ken, do you want to go on a date? Trying to like play into it because secretly, deep down inside, he still really likes Barbie. So then we go into Ken, all the Kens, singing the same douchebag song, Push.
I hated that entire scene. It made me want to leave the theater, honestly. It was really gay. Okay. It really was.
You're a guy, but I know plenty of girls, myself included, where a guy has played the guitar for them, and you have to sit there and be like...
Oh, you're talking about this? I thought you were talking about the scene where they were all the Kens were dancing and singing together. No, all right, that scene was like really... I hated the scene where they were dancing and singing. I did not like that at all.
No, I'm talking about before, whenever they're on the beach and they're
strumming
the guitar, and... I was like, God, I've been there where a guy was like playing the guitar for me and you're like, you fucking suck. And I'm going to tell you right now, the song was probably Wonderwall. Every fucking guy who plays guitar is going to play Wonderwall.
I don't play guitar, so it wasn't me.
Yeah. I was like very young, very, very young. But yeah, I saw so many girls talk about it. And for some reason, every fucking wannabe guitarist and singer would sing Wonderwall to their girlfriend.
I definitely feel like I've seen that, and I think it's really gay whenever guys try to serenade a woman like that. Like, I mean, if you got it, then you got it, but if you don't even try that shit.
Right.
Do not try that shit.
But then the girl's like, oh Like,
That was so good. And then she's texting her friends, bitch, guess what?
I wish I recorded this because it was fucking ass. Yeah. But then Barbie starts to pay attention to the other Ken. And then the next Barbie pays attention to the other Ken. And they start being like, what the fuck? Like, this is my girl. Why are you playing on my girl? Things like that. Because the next morning is supposed to be a vote. It's crazy
because women really do that shit in real life, too.
What?
Like, say your man's not giving you enough attention, you're not happy with him, you, like, go and try to make him jealous by messing with another man or some bullshit like that.
Yes.
Like,
women will use their bodies and their, I don't know, they'll just use themselves to make their man jealous, make their ex jealous.
It's very low down. No man should be jealous about that. For all my fellas out there, do not get jealous of your bitch trying to make you jealous.
I think that's, yeah, I don't agree with that behavior either. Like, girls who try to get back at their ex by like, oh, I'm gonna have sex with all his friends. He's gonna be
lowering yourself down, and your man, your ex, does not care.
Yeah, he's gonna
he probably does, but he shouldn't.
Well,
take notes, gentlemen.
He might care, but he's also gonna be like, I also dodged a bullet because now all my 100%. Friends have her, or the girls who post her body. Like, I know every single girl after a breakup, they're like, let me post my body.
15 bikini pics in a row. Like, yeah. We saw it the first time. You don't need to keep posting, I promise.
You don't look any different.
You don't look that good.
So you always know whenever a girl broke up with her man or the man broke up with his girl, things like that. And I don't agree with that behavior. I think that if you want to show that she really moved on and don't care, the best thing to do is just pretend like the guy's irrelevant. Pretend like they don't exist.
That will piss your man off, your ex-man off, is if you act like nothing happened.
Right.
Take notes, ladies. Don't be out there acting like a whore and shit. It's not worth it. You're just degrading yourself, and your man's going to end up not caring. And it's going to get over a lot quicker than if you go out there, you know, get your body right, not post it everywhere. You know, maybe
just be healthy.
Maybe a little sneak peek here and there, but you ain't got to be online acting like an OnlyFans
right.
girl.
Like, just show like, hey, I don't need you, and I'm doing just fine without you, and I forgot that you existed. I told Logan when we first got together, like, within the first month, I was like, yeah, like, if we broke up, I probably wouldn't, like, claim you. And he said, oh, I'm gonna tell my friends that we definitely have been together. And I said, well, there's
not just been together, but a little more vulgar than that.
And I was like, well, there's no evidence of it, so he would sneak pictures of me on his Snapchat when I would not know. So he had proof that me and him were together, and I could not pretend like he did not exist, because I don't
know, I ain't finna sit there and get used and not claim.
Yeah, I don't have exes. I don't. They don't exist to me.
Yeah, me either.
If a person ever says, yeah, that's my ex, they're lying, because I don't remember that part of my life. The only person I know is Logan. That's it.
I agree.
So the next morning, the Kens are going into battle, and that's the part Logan didn't like, because it's them singing a song, fighting on the beach. It
was like portrayed as really gay. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just extremely feminine and just childlike, and I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Felt like it did not add anything to the movie at all.
Well, it showed them coming together at the end.
Oh yeah, I guess.
So the two main Kens, the Ryan Gosling Ken and the Asian Ken, were kind of at each other's throats the whole time, and then it showed them coming together and not letting a woman come in between them.
Yeah, so they started singing together. I don't even know what song they were singing. It was trash.
Was it I Am Ken?
Oh yeah.
And then they took over because the guys were so focused on fighting each other that the Barbies did not overturn their, what was it called?
Constitution.
Yeah, their constitution. So they got to keep it. And Ken was kind of sad. And Barbie apologized and was like, Ken, I realized during this, like, this wasn't right. It's not good to have an extreme matriarchy, and it's not good to have an extreme patriarchy either. Like, you need to meet in the middle.
That did not happen at
Yes, it
all.
did. They decided to give Ken more rights in Barbieland. And he was kind of like, I don't know who I am without you, because he still wanted her and she still did not like him. And, he was crying, and Barbie apologized to Ken and became his emotional support. And so many women do this for men. A man hurts you and you apologize to him. How many times have you argued with a guy and it was his fault, but you're the first one to be the bigger person and put it behind you, and forgive the guy without hearing I'm sorry from him, and you being his emotional support? I've done this in my life. I know plenty of other girls who have done that, where the guy wronged them and for some reason the girl's still the bad guy. I thought that was super realistic too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she did have something to be sorry about, though.
I do think that she probably shouldn't have ignored him so much, but at the same time she didn't have to like him. He should have handled the rejection, but she should have made the rejection more clear. He really thought they were boyfriend and girlfriend. So she should have just
in every other movie and every other everything that you see, like, they are boyfriend and girlfriend. So it was kind of weird to me that they weren't in this movie. I don't know. I feel like that's like another thing that threw me off.
So this whole time that Barbie was figuring herself out, she really wanted Ken to do the same. And she was like, you need to figure out, who you are just as Ken. Not Ken and Barbie, not Ken because of Barbie, but just Ken.
I'm just Ken.
Yeah, so like that was what she tried to relay to him. And then at the end of the movie, Barbie wants to go back to the real world because she wants to feel. She wants to be, oop, there goes our dog. She wants to be a real person. She wants to have feelings. And the actress that is supposed to portray Ruth, who was the creator of Barbie, I'm pretty sure she's passed away, so it was an actress.
It was her daughter, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, but whoever the actress was, she created the first Barbie. So she was the one kind of leading Barbie back. And she was like, are you sure, Barbie? Because, like, there is death, there is sadness, there are things that happen in the real world that you have to accept. And she showed her another montage. And this montage, again, was mothers and daughters and little girls as babies growing up and things like that. It made me, like, emotional because I'm over here like, my daughter's going to grow up. And, like, I'm so sad that I want her to be a baby forever. And Margot Robbie starts to cry and she's like, yes, I do want to feel this. Like, I want to feel something real. And
I'd say I'd rather have an emotion-full life than an emotionless life where everything's just the exact same every day. It's like living in a loop.
Right. And Barbie saw her first old person in the real world and she looked at her and she was like, wow, you're so beautiful. And the old woman responded with, I know. And I think that really, like, hit Barbie, like, wow, like, this is an old lady. She's never seen an old person before and she is beautiful and she wants that life. So Barbie decides to go to the real world. And I saw so many men talking about, oh, Barbie went to the real world wearing her Birkenstocks and went to her job. No, she went to the gynecologist. So
yeah, that was portrayed very well. I don't know how anybody didn't catch that at
all. I saw so many guys.
Men just aren't aware of the gynecologist, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe he thought that she was the gynecologist. I don't know. But I have seen so many men go on Twitter and Facebook and talk about how this movie is so anti-men, so anti-family, so anti-mom. You see Barbie doing this, and this, but, like, I don't agree with most of the points that they say because
it 100% is. I've seen men saying that it's not. I've seen more men saying that it is. I've seen women also saying that it is, or more so women's take on it is that it's, like, extremely feminist, like today's modern woke culture feminist, not true feminism. But that's most of the takes that I've seen from women. It's just like it's overly feminist.
So we'll like wrap this up because we've been here for a while and the movie we've like explained the whole movie. I do think that it was overly feminist. This is 2023. It is Hollywood. We shouldn't be surprised here that how this was portrayed. I do think that it wasn't extreme feminism, but there are times with extreme feminism that I feel bad about myself. Instead, this movie made me feel good about myself because of how much it celebrated mothers, and I did not feel bad about not having a job and being a stay-at-home mom because they didn't like frown upon that either in the movie. I will say that they didn't really frown upon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it portrayed a lot of good things for women in general, but I just didn't like how they were. I don't know. I don't like how they portrayed the roles of women and men and how they portrayed men in general in the movie.
Yeah, they definitely didn't portray the men like they didn't give like any strong man. The dad to Sasha, the husband to Gloria, but he was just playing Duolingo the whole time.
He was like an idiot.
There was Alan, who was supposed to be the male version of
he was an absolute simp.
Feminism, like the male feminist.
He was a wokey with blue hair.
There really was no like normal male character that you'll see like your boyfriend or your best guy friend or your dad or your brother or anything. There was no just normal man. It was Alan, Ken.
Either misogynistic, overly feminine, dumb as a box of rocks, or trying to learn Spanish.
Right.
Those are the only men who were portrayed in the entire movie.
I will say though that there are movies where there's only male characters and the woman that's featured in it is just like the whore, the bimbo, ditzy, dumb. I mean, there are movies like that too, so I can't say like it's unfair to men whenever there are plenty of movies in reversal doing that. I feel like a lot of guys can't handle that kind of stuff. If you're secure in your masculinity, you should be able to handle this kind of movie and not walk out of a theater whenever you spent money on these tickets. I do think that men were being a little overly sensitive about this.
I mean, I agree. You're a man. You should be, comfortable in your emotions and be stoic and be able to sit through the whole garbage movie without being upset.
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't ever get upset at the movie because, I mean, it was kind of like what you'd expect with Hollywood nowadays, extremely woke and... so it wasn't like I wasn't expecting what happened. I was just taking it in and analyzing it as it was going on.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the movie. I didn't really think much of it. Is there something wrong?
No.
Oh. I didn't really think too deeply into it. I didn't really think that it needed like a huge discussion until like I went on Twitter and TikTok and Facebook and saw all these think pieces on it, and I'm like, you know what, let's join it because it's a hot topic. It's a movie about a doll, and I feel like people really took it too personal.
I don't have any like strong feelings towards it.
It was a great
I'm just
summer
putting
hit.
out what I analyzed about it. It didn't really upset me or anything like that.
All the women came together and wore pink. I wore pink today for Barbie. Everyone in the theater was wearing pink. I mean, I like that it brought people...
I even wore pink.
Yeah, I like that it brought everybody together. There is Barbie themed, a bunch of stuff, like Barbie themed popcorns, and you would go to like stores and you would see Barbie themed bracelets and clothes and cookies and cupcakes and all this stuff. So I really thought it brought a lot of people together. I like that. That it did that. You don't really see many movies that do that. I do think that you should watch it. If you really are one of those people who doesn't think too deeply about movies, like I think you would enjoy it. If you're one of those people like Ben Shapiro who goes to the movies with his little notepad and takes notes during a movie, this movie's probably not for you. Because,
he was just trying to create some content.
Yeah, like if you're one of those people, don't watch the movie because you're doing too much. But yeah, guys, so let us know your thoughts on the movie. If you haven't seen it and you don't plan on seeing it, but watch this podcast and listen to us today, let us know what you think.
Or if it changed your mind and now you want to go see the movie, who knows?
And always like, comment, subscribe.
Socials down below. We got a TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, which I'm still working on, so I'm not gonna post that yet.
We will be coming
yeah.
out with episodes weekly. Our next episode is actually going to be on mental health. Angus Cloud recently passed away, and mental health again is a big topic. And I would really like for me and Logan to discuss the mental health between a man and a woman, because men have issues when it comes to their mental health, and it's more accepted for women. So I'd really like to get a male's perspective on that. But yeah, if there's anything that you guys would like us to talk about in the future, leave a comment. And if you want to guest star and have a conversation with us, DM us.
Please.
Anyways, bye guys.
Peace.